Hey everybody, Tom with Permaculture Wilmington here. I just want to give you an update on what's going on with the Dutch buckets. I did a video a couple weeks ago showing one of my tomato plants had yellowing leaves and it was dying. It was in bad shape. I thought it was gone. But luckily I was able to figure out what was going on. I put some compost tea into the Dutch bucket where the roots were, and I saw some ants coming out of that area where the perlite was very dry, and it just had a whole bunch of insects carrying eggs down into the perlite. So right away I'm like, that shouldn't be happening, right? We shouldn't have ants on roots. So after I poured in compost tea, the plant came back after a couple days and looked really good, and I was really excited. But then it started deteriorating again, and I started seeing a decline. So I couldn't put my mind around what was going on there. But as I looked a little closer and inspected, I found out that the roots of the tomato plant had grown up into the tube that was where the water's coming out from the reservoir, the intake tube. So I basically had to take the hose off the little tube. I took it completely off the system and had to use some pipe cleaner, and I think what actually ended up working was a skewer, just a regular shish kebab skewer, and then I was able to push all the roots out from inside that tube and hook the tube back up, and the water was coming out again, and now the plants are healthy. I mean, you guys can take a look. I mean, check this out. I mean, this is great, and there was actually a whole bunch of tomatoes on it just a couple minutes ago, and you can see there's a couple up here, but I ate them all, and then I realized, I'm like, this is a great time to do a video. So, but yeah, there's just tons and tons of tomatoes all over this. So I love how this system works, because they grow up here, and then the top here blocks the water from coming off the eave at the top up there and falling and hitting the plant so hard because it's so high up. You know, I've had a lot of problems with the water hitting the leaves that are on the vines right in here and knocking them off. But as long as the plant maintains roots down here, the water won't break the stem. So it's not really a big deal. You see, like, a lot of the leaves are they're not that great. But this is the plant that was hurting from not getting water for so long. But I'm so glad I put that compost tea in the bucket, because if I hadn't, you know, it wouldn't have had the nutrition, and then the microbes kept the anaerobes out of the root column while the water was sitting there stagnant. You know, if you have stagnant water, it's not moving because it's not getting circulation, and it's just sitting in the bottom. It's going to go anaerobic, and that's when the microbes come in and they eat your roots and cause disease and odors, and basically just really bad for your plants. It got warm for a little while, and then that tomato plant sprouted, and before it got cold again, we were able to pick it and take it inside and put it in a hydroponic unit. And it's a mix. This what you're seeing right here is a mix between Millions. So we order from Park Seeds. Park Seeds has a strain called Millions, and they are so flavorful. We're excited about getting the Sun Golds this year, but the Million tomatoes are by far the most flavorful tomatoes we personally have had. When you bite into these things, they're actually little circles, but when you bite into them, man, they are so flavorful. But last year we grew Julets here, and then we also grew Millions right next to them. So this is actually a crossbreed between Julets and Millions. But guys, just a couple cool little tips, and I thought I'd get you up to date here and show you what's going on with all the tomatoes. Such wonderful things, these maters. We love our maters. And these are Sun Gold tomatoes, and then, well, these are Sun Gold tomatoes on these plants, these two buckets here. And then the one that's over here has two vines in it, and these were actually runners, suckers that came off the vine that we had inside that started in January in a pot outside in the yard. So, and we didn't want it to freeze, so we took it inside and started growing it in our indoor hydroponic units because it was too cold. You know, we had hot and cold flashes back and forth, and this just happened to sprout. This is Tom with Permaculture Wilmington, guys. Hope you're having a great day.